guys, you know we love doing little games on this channel. Little games on this channel. Today we're playing a game, and the rules are simple. The rules are in the name of the video, which you clicked on, so you should know by now. Do not fall asleep unless I say your city. Now, whatever works for you guys, okay? It can be your home city, like say you were born there but you don't live there anymore. That's fine. You can count that. There's a lot of cities in this world, so whatever works. And I am pulling these directly from the comment section of my previous video of part 1. So, for future videos, if you would like to hear your city said, please be sure to drop a comment below, okay? Because like I said, I'm literally just reading your comments right here on my iPad. Okay. First, I'm going to start in the US of A. Yeah, baby. We're taking it to New York, specifically. I'll tell you. Staten Island. Hello, Staten Island. Hello. How are you guys feeling tonight? You guys have my permission to fall asleep now. Staten Island. Good night. Okay. Sorry if I keep looking down. Like I said, I've got the iPad here. Promise I'm not trying to ignore you. Okay. Now we're staying in the USA, but we're taking it down southwest. Tempe, Arizona. Arizona. Shouts out to everybody in Tempe, Arizona. I don't know if I named a single city in Arizona last time, so seems like a lot of people in the replies of this comment were saying they're also from Arizona, so hey Arizona. Next, I'm turning my attention to Switzerland. Hello to all of you in Basel, Switzerland. I never know where to put the emphasis on words. Is it like Basel or is it Basel? You know what I mean? The intonation of cities I'm not familiar with. So anyway, I'm rambling. You guys have my permission to fall asleep. And next up, Chesapeake, Virginia. Virginia. And you guys have my permission to fall asleep. And then we're just gonna take a little stroll over the sea, the ocean, back to Europe, to visit our friends in Malmo, Sweden. Oh, my Swedes. Hey, Swedes. Kisses. Malmo, Sweden. You all have my permission to fall asleep. I bet there are at least 2 of you watching who have been to Malmo, Sweden. So if you've even been there, shit, I'll give you my permission too. I'm feeling generous today. Generous today. Okay. Oh, see, I always get so nervous to mispronounce these. Toulouse in France. France. Hello, France. Bonjour, salut. Now, I really freaked you guys over in the last video, okay? Because I shouted out Normandy so ignorantly, calling it a city. Okay, I know now that it's not a city. You guys have told me 100 million times. I got a little confused, okay, because somebody left a comment saying they're from Normandy, and so I was just like, oh yeah, the city of Normandy, my dumbass. Anyway, Toulouse. I'm aware that's not a city. Hold on, I'm going somewhere with this. I want to say guten Tag to my German viewers. German. Does guten Tag mean good morning, or is that just a general hello? Shit, maybe it's the morning. Welcome to my channel, German viewers, specifically in Stuttgart. Guys, I just realized I had a chili pepper in my tooth this whole time, so if you noticed it, no you didn't, I fixed it, okay? I want to say guten Tag to my viewers in Deutschland, in Germany. Specifically in Stuttgart, Germany. Oh, this one's a hard one to say. Stuttgart. You guys have my permission to fall asleep. Okay. Hello to Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Grand Rapids, Minnesota has my permission to fall asleep now too. I don't think I've ever been to Grand Rapids. Is it nice there? Do you guys like living there or being born there? Let me know in the comments, but I don't know, it sounds cool. Grand Rapids has my permission to fall asleep. Okie doke. See, a lot of you like to leave these comments where you're like, my city will never get mentioned. I live in a small town in so-and-so. And it's like, well, damn. Of course it's not, because you're not leaving a comment telling me where it is. Stop moping and give me your address and social security number. Meow. Anyway, you get the gist. Pretty we're staying in the US a lot, actually. I guess I just have a lot of American viewers. That makes sense because I'm American. Tip City, Ohio. You guys have my permission to relax and fall asleep. And next we have Brisbane, Australia. Or is it Brisbane? Brisbane, Australia. You have my permission to fall asleep. And ooh, this is a hard one for me. Okay, Kaliningrad, Russia. I know you guys flipped out when I did the Russia last time. You guys really liked, you were like, that's so tingly. So you know I can't do it for more than like 2 seconds. Russia. Kaliningrad, Russia. You have my permission to fall asleep. Okay. Now, did I say this in the previous video? I'm not sure. Buenos Aires, Argentina. I know I said somewhere in Argentina, but I don't know where. I think was Mendoza? No, that's Brazil. Fuck, I don't know. My head is swirling with all these different cities you guys are throwing at me. Buenos Aires, Argentina has my permission to fall asleep. And then we're gonna go to Norway. Let's take a little trip. To Norway, to specifically Oslo. Oh, the hair is not cooperating today. Oslo. And now I got a chili on my hand. What the fuck? What the freak? Oslo. Sorry for that interruption. You have my permission to fall asleep. Ooh, this is a hard one. Would love to hear Ulaanbaatar. Ooh, oh God, I feel like stupid American girl when I try to pronounce this, but it's Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. I am so sorry if I'm butchering it. You have my permission to fall asleep. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. This one is a girl's name. But no, don't get confused. This isn't the if I say your name, you fall asleep. This is Florence. Florence, Italy has my permission to fall asleep. Now, how about and you would think by my rolling my R, I'm about to name someplace exotic. Rolling Meadows, Illinois. Hey guys, fellow Midwesterner here. You guys have my permission to fall asleep. I see you, we see each other. Rolling Meadows, Illinois. Okay, now how about what's up, Caneyville? Caneyville, Kentucky. Apparently it's a small town. No one knows where it is, according to this commenter. Well, I know where you are, Caneyville. And I see you. And I grant you my permission to fall asleep, okay? So have a good night's rest. Good night. And now, Naples. I'm so sorry, my earbuds are hitting the microphone. Naples, Florida. Florida has my permission to fall asleep. Good night, guys. Naples. I'm seeing 2 cities in the great state of Georgia. So we're gonna knock those ones out. Hello, Canton, Georgia. Canton, you have my permission to fall asleep. Good night, good night, good night, good night. They made sure to clarify that they do not mean the country, Georgia. Thank you. And Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia. Also a girl's name. So is Georgia, though, too. I think Georgia is such a cute name for a girl. But nonetheless, you guys have my permission. Good night to you guys in Guadalajara, Mexico. Guadalajara, Mexico. You guys have my permission to fall asleep, okay? Okay, I hope you guys have a really excellent rest of your week, okay? Now, how about my good friends in Portugal? I bet you guys are very sleepy. Lisbon. Now, this commenter let me know that is only the English version of it. I think they said Lisboa, Portugal. You have my permission to fall asleep. And Arizona gets another one. Phoenix, you my permission to fall asleep now. Good night. Next, I want to say good night to Dublin, Ireland. You guys can finally fall asleep. Big deep breath and close those eyes. Let your head sink into the pillow or the couch cushion or whatever. Just relax, guys. Come on now. You finally have my permission, so just do it. Good night, Dublin. Hello, Greensboro, North Carolina. How are we feeling? Sleepy? I hope so, because you now have my permission to fall asleep. And if you're not sleepy, you have to anyways. So, good night. Good night to those of you in Lebanon, Indiana. has 3 likes. So if you are from Springfield, make sure leave a comment, say hey, tell me if you hate it there. Or is it just this one commenter? In Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma has my permission to fall asleep. Good night. Now how about Santa Fe, Argentina? Santa Fe, Argentina. You guys, do you want my permission to fall asleep? Let me know in the comments below and maybe I'll give it to you in the next video. Just kidding. Pranked ya. You guys have my permission to fall asleep. Santa Fe. Good night. How about Lawrence, Kansas? I said Florence, Italy, so now we're doing Lawrence, Kansas. You guys have my permission to fall asleep now. Just like how Lawrence is kind of like a prim and proper boy's name, we're going to do another one. Quincy, Massachusetts. How is it that I've been living in the beautiful country of America my whole life? I know all the states and I've been to Massachusetts several times. However, I still feel like I struggle to get it out of my mouth every time I say it. Massachusetts. Anyway, good night, Quincy. Good night, Quincy, Massachusetts. And Chicago, Illinois. Now, I know that commenter last time who said anywhere in Illinois but Chicago, they were targeting y'all in Chicago. But Chicago, the Windy City. Ooh, you guys now have my permission to fall asleep. Sorry about that one person, clearly. They were beefing with you. Good night, Chicago. Okay, now let's just over to Belgium, where we're going to say hello to all our friends in Antwerp. And you know what else we're going to say? We're also going to say good night to them because you guys have my permission to fall asleep now. Sleep now. Sleep now. Good night. Good night. Good night. I did already mention a Swedish city, but I'm gonna just throw another one out there for good measure because why the hell not? Stockholm, Sweden. You guys have my permission to fall asleep. Good night, good night, good night, good night to you, those of you in Stockholm. Love ya. Good night. Okie doke. How about Lakewood, Colorado? Lakewood. Water and earth. Lakewood. I don't know. Lakewood. You guys have my permission to fall asleep. And while we're in Colorado, let's just deal with Denver. Good night, guys. Good night. You guys have my permission to fall asleep. Good night to my Iraqi viewers. Somebody commented Basra. Basra has my permission to fall asleep. And so does Bakersville, California. Good night. Dang, I got a lot of Swedes in my comment section. Falsterbo in the south of Sweden. You guys have my permission to fall asleep. Good night. Don't let the bed bugs out. Bye. This next one, I was gonna give it a quick Google, but this person specifically says they're curious of how I'm gonna pronounce it, so I'm gonna go ahead and just wing it. This one's in the Netherlands. It's H-E-E-R-D-E. Heard. I don't know. I'm so sorry. Good night to you, though. Good night to you. And if you want to do over considering shifting gears. Like, should I also make a just naming countries? Like, should I just like go down a list of countries? I don't know. I always love to hear your guys' feedback because I did see a couple comments of being like, you should do this but with countries. But like, that would knock out like 40% of my viewers in one when I say, you know, America or Canada. Also, apologies for these videos having so many cuts in them. A lot of times I'm like googling pronunciations between things, or I'll second guess myself and be like, maybe I need to try that again. So that's why these are so cut up like this. That's gonna be it for this video. Like and subscribe, and make sure to comment. Let me know if I said your city or not, and if not, tell me your city. Oh, sorry, I just keep on talking. Also, if you have a tricky to